We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Is it time to push back against the Fed? Did I just find something right before I came out on the air that justifies 250K Bitcoin? They're like, what? What exactly is going on with the economy? Is the labor market terrible or is it not terrible? Is the economy okay? Is it a recession like the media thinks, or is it something else? Are there geopolitical developments that are disturbing? Yes. Is that holding the market down? Yes. What happens if those shorts get squeezed out? The market's going to go up a lot. We're going to go over that and a lot of other charts in this episode. So, let's welcome who's here. Zapatas, Roby, welcome. Thomas, Miguel, Jav, Crypto Scam, Taz Pinball, welcome. Horace, good morning. Michael Saylor, 10 billion more. Right. Grandpa Keeter, what's going on? Hold strong. Right. Vanessa is here. Sunita, Old Smoky, Warmon, and Original. Brandon, good morning. Tyler, what's up? Okay, let's get into the news. Freddie XD is here. Welcome, sir. All right. So, Tiffany here, who I haven't looked into at all, okay, has done some analysis on something called did I get it? No. It's called it's a private equity tax loophole. Like the orange man is actually looking to close this. Now, here's what happens with this loophole, as I understand it. Venture capitalists get high rate loans. So I'm sorry, they get variable interest rate loans. So as rates go up, they have to pay more. The venture capitalists go out, they invest in businesses, and the big deal for the hedge funds is, can they cover the interest on the loans? And if they can't, then they just basically take the businesses that they own and drive them into bankruptcy, which is why you have things like Hooters and Joann's stores and all these different places that may actually be okay, but the private equity or venture capital guys get in trouble with their loans and have to liquidate the business. Now, I didn't think this was a big deal. The orange man brought up that they want to get rid of this loophole, but apparently the repeat of 2008 is here behind the scenes, meaning these loans that are given to these venture capitalists have been packaged up and sold to pension funds and major investment funds, right? So we have an asset that's maybe a little toxic. That's packaged up by banks, Wall Street, and sold, giving you a repeat of what happened in 2008 when they packaged up loans from consumers who couldn't pay the loans. It's like, let's give insolvent people super risky loans and then sell them to pension funds. Now, if what this lady is saying is true, because they have talked about getting rid of this loophole, some sort of tax loophole that allows this, we may have identified men behaving badly. We may have identified the reason behind 200K Bitcoin, because you cannot have the U.S. government borrowing $9 trillion. The U.S. government seemingly doing the bidding of somebody in the Middle East. First it was all this like, the orange man's going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. The next thing we're, like full on conflicts broken out in the Middle East again with us starting it. Right. So you got all these things happening. You got the Europeans borrowing money insanely for defense against an enemy that they've had for 100 years. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, let's borrow a ton of money. Like, wait a minute. If everyone's borrowing a ton of money, how does this work out? And these guys, private equity, may have created another problem with toxic assets. That's all you need to know, right? Debt and bad debt, or more debt or a massive amount of debt and bad debt. Now, how does this resolve itself, right? how does this resolve itself, right? You know, how does this? Well, the first thing that happens is this, right? Breaking news from the Eagle King: gold gets to an all-time high. I just keep buying it, right? Buy gold, buy Bitcoin, buy all this stuff. Because if you have multiple different problems in the financial system, or you have a private sector and a public sector problem, now you know why they're panicking to get interest rates down. Lay off everyone in the government if you have to, get rates down. Because the problem is with loans that interest rates are too high on. The venture capitalists cannot make the payments if they don't bring rates down. If they don't bring rates down, nobody can survive. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to do this or not. The Fed's out today. You think if the Fed had any common sense, they would say, well, we don't know what we're going to do, but we are acknowledging softness in the labor market. I think if they said that, that would actually get crypto going. It would. And I can't believe they're not going to say that based on some of the data that's already out there about, I think the private sector is using the cover of public sector layoffs to start letting people go. I think that's what's happening. Like the headlines are all about what's going on with the government layoffs. Meanwhile, the private sector is doing the same thing. And who knows, the age of AI in a certain way could be here in the job market. So hopefully the Fed acknowledges that in the next coming days. And I hate to say this, but you know what? If there's conflict that's started and the Fed is neutral and the market doesn't go down, I think it should go up. Because really, I think the market should be down a lot more on geopolitics. Instead, everyone's buying gold. Everyone's buying alternative assets. So whatever's going on here, right? Party City, Joanne's, Forever 21, everybody that private equity invested in collapsed. Why? Now, if you don't understand that, that's okay, right? You just have, legacy behaving badly, government doing panic cost cutting, government distracting you with everything they can. Why? Well, guess what? You're going to find out. And I have a feeling when you do find out, you're going to want to own Bitcoin. You're going to want to own something in Web3, right? Bitcoin for sure. Okay, so, yeah. Elon's vision of AI in 10 years is kind of scary. All right. So rather than go through all this, I ask one simple question. What are you doing to protect yourself against any economic changes? Let's not go full robots take over the world yet. What are you doing to protect yourself from all of this like hyper speed, warp speed change that's going on in the world? What are you doing? Right? What are you doing? Well, it's got to be crypto. It's got to be. I just showed you we're into a stream. We're 15 minutes into the stream. I just showed you that we've got Men Behaving Badly to sequel down at in the debt market, in the private debt market at Wall Street. And, Mars Boy is telling you, Rocket Man is telling you that, AI is going to create all kinds of disruptions. All right. So what are we doing about it? Are we waiting for somebody to give us something? Are we waiting for the president to moon our bags? Or are we going to just get involved and wait for Mr. Market to weigh in on this and whatever comes out of Powell's mouth? I think this is a situation where whatever comes out of Powell's mouth is either the truth about the labor market or it's some sort of neutral blah, 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 which the market should look at and go, you know what? I'm done with you. Let's go. A lot of people shorted 85K. That's like the worst kept secret in the whole world at this point. Okay, so American citizen breaks down in tears as his most recent rent means 90% of his income goes just to paying his rent. How's the currency working out? I got another slide in here that says Walmart is offering payment plans for groceries. You know what I'm saying? And this is not to make you upset first thing in the morning, but this is to basically say the currency doesn't work. And everybody knows it. And all it requires is for someone to say it. It just had to be said. Like, it doesn't matter until it does. Well, it does matter. And I don't understand why everyone is negative Bitcoin with this kind of stuff going on. There's some giga short levered position at 85K. Are you kidding me? Like, is that some kind of false flag or a hedge against somebody who's like uber long? Is that Michael Saylor hedging? What is that? We're selling Bitcoin at 80K with no crisis. We have a crisis sentiment with no crisis present, right? We just kind of have a debt problem, but the market is acting like FTX. Crypto is acting like FTX. There's only one catch. There's no FTX. There's no FTX. Crypto is in a crisis mentality with no crisis. And if there is a crisis, it's in fiat, as demonstrated by this, as demonstrated by this, and definitely as demonstrated by this. If there's a problem, it's not here. It isn't. We've made up an imaginary problem. We've fallen for some kind of mind trick. Okay. White House press secretary says Middle Eastern country warns, gives the administration notice about more conflict. Isn't that funny? I thought we were supposed to have less conflict. I always had less. I mean, we like walked away from what was going on in Eastern Europe with a big show at the White House so we could turn around and do what exactly? And people are falling for this. They're falling for it. I mean, some people aren't. There's a couple of guys out there who are really loud. I don't even mention their names. People are getting really loud about this. But, they have a very high approval rating and they're really good at distraction. So, all right. So, yeah, we have, I don't have it. Okay. So yesterday, we had the Orange Man out at the Kennedy Center talking about the release of these files. So very convenient that, conflict starts. We start it. The country in the Middle East that is aligned with us follows up, says, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to start, we got a double shot of conflict going on. But let's release the JFK files. Hey, everybody, here come the JFK files, where we tell you what you already know. And we're going to have a whole bunch of executive orders off this because, we're cracking down on all this stuff. Okay. So it's good to have the truth. The truth always works, but really, it's a big show. It's a big distraction. From what? Well, whatever it is, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, if we're going to sit here and get tricked out of the market, we're insane. If I sit here and don't say anything, even if I wind up losing money, because you're long and I'm long, that's what we all have in common. If we get tricked out of the market, and we find out what's really going on, here it is. The Eagle King, the greatest producer in the history of YouTube. Oh, here we have, look at this, man. Like big red carpet, JFK in the back. Wow. That's a good show, right? Bobby and friends, they deserve a little transparency, a little justice, but what are they distracting you from? Well, I think they're distracted. Well, I mean, I don't know what this is about. This is probably about the geopolitics, but there's no way these characters are going to get me not looking at Bitcoin at 80K. There's just no way. None. I'm not falling for this. Okay. So Tucker is now on the bandwagon that a lot of other commentators have been along for a while. That's saying that what's going on in the Middle East is not only going to cost billions. So again, Elon is saving money and they're spending it on whatever they're doing in the Middle East. And this could get crazy. I think this is why people are bearish and short and worried. Now, again, there are certain people saying that, the administration is bought and paid for by special interests, and the special interests are the one that want this conflict, and they could be right. They could be right. Now, is that a risk to equities? I don't know. Is that a risk to crypto? I don't know. But it sure does make me want to get outside the system. I look at this and I'm like, okay, so on 1 minute, we're spending tens of billions of dollars on something no one wants. We're signing executive orders. We're doing all this stuff. We're having this big show. What are we doing? Okay, I don't know what we're doing, but it looks like the same version of what we've done in the past with a little bit more patriotism. I'm telling you, I don't know how you get me off Bitcoin with this type of news flow. Look at this. BlackRock just bought $1.4 billion worth of UK homes. All of our homes in the UK are being bought up by multinationals. Like, even though they got the Bitcoin ETF, are any of these characters acting in your interest? Is this what you want? Look at these people in the United Kingdom. Oh my God. They can't post anything on social media, right? The demographics have changed. You know, the sovereigns have decided to massively increase defense spending. They've decided to massively get in the face of a huge power in Eastern Europe. For what reason, I don't know. 3 years into a major conflict. What are they doing over there? Like, if you look at the behavior of all the sovereigns, how is everyone not buying Bitcoin? I don't understand that. Like, even if you like, hedge funds look at this stuff like, oh my God, everything has to crash. I think everything has to reverse crash. That's Bitcoin. That's crypto. That's anything that's useful in the digital asset space. It's a reverse crash. So the hedge funds are like, all the guys my age are like, it's got to go down. Ray Dalio, it's the end of the world. Not if Bitcoin's at 250K, dude. If Bitcoin goes to 250K, people are going to listen and they're going to pay attention. Why do you think Michael Saylor, we got it in here somewhere, the guy's just buying it, billions. He's like, how much money can I get? How much money can I get? Okay, so, 3-letter agencies are involved. Everyone's got a theory about what happened to that, famous president back in the 60s. Again, the more they talk about it, the bigger a show it is, the more I want to buy Bitcoin. It's a distraction. Okay. Bank of America survey shows biggest ever drop in exposure to U.S. equities. Now, here is an unusual comment. Why? Okay, so the government's laying people off. Government's downsizing. Okay. Stocks were a little overvalued. They would do for a correction. Okay. But is there a crisis? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on that's not good. And I understand that, but why exactly did everyone get negative again? Like, why is it like, why are people apocalyptically negative crypto? Like, crypto is bearish without FTX. Equities may have a problem out there somewhere in legacy, but right. People all sold at once. Like normally when you have a crash, like I remember 2008, there were 2 technical analysts at Goldman, and me and this guy using 2 separate work were like, warning, 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 warning. Watch out, watch out, watch out. People thought we were crazy. They thought we were out of our mind. We were like, S&P's going down, 30, 40%. No one believed us. Now, once that crisis started, certain divisions at Goldman believed us, right? But when everyone panics at once, you shouldn't panic. It's not funny, right? Okay. Now, here's what we should be talking about. Breaking from the Ego King. The national average for a single person to live is $94,000. That's probably right. It's probably higher than that in certain areas. I know it's higher than that in Austin, for sure. So how's the currency working out? I mean, my friend Toby has got people calling her going, how can I do crypto? And the thing that's funny is we put a bunch of educational videos up. No one watched them. I've been scared out of this, and the administration is trying to tell people, Like the only altruistic thing that they seem to be trying to do is avoid a debt crisis and get people involved in other currencies to protect themselves from what's going on. Okay, Doomberg. So Doomberg has gone fully political. It's an economic markets website. It's gone fully political. You have to dig for anything market related. Wall Street blockchain bosses call for new rules. Okay, so JP Morgan says we need greater regulatory clarity. The SEC just dropped every single lawsuit against everybody, all the way down to Ian Bellina. You got regulatory clarity. You got it. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, what do you want? They just don't want to get involved. They have to get involved, but they don't want to because they know that, we don't need them anymore. We don't need them anymore. Now, here's Bank of New York. Okay. Now, Mike O'Reilly from Fidelity, it's education. Now, this is true, right? Like, we're educated about what crypto is, except we look at what everybody's going on, and we've somehow generated FTX without FTX. So the general public needs education that they need a different currency, and we need to stop hitting the self-installed kill switch. Like, memes stopped going up, so we all gave up. Crazy. Here we go. It's everywhere. It's just like, there's funny and not funny. Imagine working a 9 to 5 for 50 years, and then the Fed prints 40% of the total money supply and inflates away 20% of your work. That's why you need Bitcoin. I'm retweeting this and following this guy. What are we doing? We're leveraged. The market is leveraged short at 85K. Powell opens his mouth today and says something stupid. That thing could explode to the upside. It could explode. It's that simple. I love this. So crypto companies are seeking to become banks under the new Trump administration, reports Reuters. Followed immediately by Bitcoin markets are expected to fall due to macroeconomic risks. Shut up, Jamie. Just shut up. Seriously, right? Like, Jamie does not have to take out credit at Walmart to buy groceries. Jamie is not going to do anything to help this guy. And if there are macro risks out there, it's got to do with men behaving badly somewhere in legacy. And the Fed doesn't want to talk about it. Remember how I always talked about the Fed is saving, whatever kind of ammo they have in case there's a bigger problem? Yeah, well, guess what? There could be some bigger problems out there. Maybe that's why everyone panicked in stocks. But again, everyone's always looking for the next 1987. Everyone's always looking for the next 2008. I did that last year, or I did that in 2023. It never happened. Everyone's looking for a crash. They should be looking for a reverse crash. Like, this news flow, to me, hints more at 250K Bitcoin than anything that was put out in January when everybody was bullish. Like, when everybody was bullish. And I have fear greed in here somewhere. It's like at 34%. Okay. So like I said, consumers are making payments on chicken, and there's a massive 40x leverage short at 85K. Please help me understand. Okay. Walmart redefines credit landscape. 40x leverage short position has been increased to $517 million. Liquidation price is now 85K. Fed says something stupid today. It's going to be at 90. I mean, we all know why it can go down. It's geopolitics, blah, 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 from Jamie. I don't know. When has Jamie ever been right about Bitcoin? Eagle King coming through. Fear, greed. Everyone negative. That's with an uptick yesterday. So market rallies, it goes to 34. Market goes down, it goes to 15. I mean, are you ever going to, I mean, where does the market have to go to get fear greed back above 50? And by the time it is back above 50, where is it? Probably a 98. Just talking about Bitcoin. I mean, it's just in my mind, at least for the first leg of this trade into Bitcoin Vegas, it's like you got to own Bitcoin, even though that's just like, sounds boring as hell. You got to have it. And if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to buy it because it's going to gap. That's the legacy term. That means it's going to move really fast. You got time to buy Bitcoin miners. You got time to buy MicroStrategy right now. You got time to buy the Bitcoin ETF, just like you did in 2022, right? When FTX looked like the end of the whole system, which is true. Now we have the same sentiment as the end of the whole system with the case for 250K Bitcoin literally right in front of you. Like everyone just got giga bearish everything right out of nowhere. Gold's going up and Bitcoin is... We're having a crisis without a crisis. Okay, so Elon has found, I don't know, push a button, get a salary, push a button, get a machine. A push a button machine that just prints money. Is that shocking? Not really. I mean, it is, but it's not. And it's a great show. It really is. It's a great show, right? Every day, Elon's got something. They find this, they find that. Hey, we saved $10 billion. Yeah, how much does each cruise missile cost that we're firing at wherever we're firing them at? And where's the country that's fighting, the Middle Eastern country that's doing the fighting over there? Like, where are their weapons coming from? And how much is that costing us? Because they're not making them themselves. They're getting it from us. We stopped giving it to Eastern Europe and we started giving it to the Middle East. It's a wash. But this is a great show and people are buying it for now, right? And again, speaking of a great show, right? St. Patrick's Day, Conor McGregor at the White House with the Orange Man and Elon. Now, this makes some sense because I think this guy wants to run for president of Ireland. Conceivably, even though they won't let it happen, you could have Andrew Tate running England. That's not going to happen. Or you could have this guy running Ireland, which is theoretically possible. But of course, they've got this guy tied up in court. I don't know if he's guilty or not guilty. But what a great show, right? What's better than Conor McGregor walking around the White House, telling the Orange Man how much he likes his worth ethic? I mean, it's really inspiring stuff. It's great. It's great theater, man. Because I'm an American. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Meanwhile, I dig into the news, and all I want to do is buy more Bitcoin. That's all I want to do. Okay. Lots of opportunity for improvement because everything is so bad on government spending, right? And then, there's this problem. Like, this goes back to like the whole McAfee thing. Like, are you a free person? Like, like, I don't know if people understand. Like, I think in the UK, they call it, I don't know, I'm just going to say it. They call it armed police, right? So they have guys without and guys with G words, right? So in England, everyone's like, armed police, armed police. They have to like identify themselves. Now, we don't have that in the US, right? When these guys show up, like these guys, these units are designed for like very heavy things, like, guys out in malls or guys out in public places hurting random people. That's, just hurting everybody on purpose. That's what these guys are designed for. Now, if you don't like somebody, you can call local PD and say, there's a serious incident at such and such house. These guys show up ready to go because, that's what they do. They kick the door in and they're expecting guys to resist them right away. Now they're calling these guys randomly to scare people in the middle of the night. This is happening everywhere. This is everywhere. Like, I'm in bed. I have a certain view. Someone doesn't like it. And the next thing I know, armed police are at my house. Buy Bitcoin. Wear diamonds. I can't stop saying it. I just can't. Meanwhile, CZ reminds you, okay, 4% of actively trade or work on projects, but won't outperform Bitcoin. Meaning, look, dude, if you don't know what to do, get Bitcoin. The CZ is telling you. CZ, with this post, holding Bitcoin surpasses 99% of crypto participants and other asset types by doing practically nothing. What does that mean? That means I already bought everyone's Bitcoin and I got everyone calling me going, how do I get more? That's what it says. Like this levered short position at 85K could be some market maker trying to scare the market so they can get it down. Like, ooh, here's a geopolitical event. Ooh. Everyone's scared out of the market. Meanwhile, they covered a short and it explodes if they can't get more of your Bitcoin. That's what it feels like to me. They're trying to like spook everybody. Okay. At other places in the Middle East, they can't do crypto fast enough, mainly because all their crypto companies could leave and wind up over here. So there's a race for adoption, I think, in the big Arab financial centers for crypto. We got to adopt this or everyone's going to pack their bags and move to Texas. You want regulatory clarity? You want adoption? No, you don't. How about just everyone doing it all at the same time? And you're left out. Oh my God. This guy's back. These guys, I can't stop showing this. So the French think that pro-crypto policies could trigger global instability. So we're borrowing $9 trillion. They're going to borrow $9 trillion to fight an 80-year-old conflict. You can't say anything over there without winding up in jail. And that's the free countries, not the Eastern European countries in the spy novels. This is France. You know, an antivirus trades it at 3 million market cap. They're coming out with email and VPN. And I think with Ben Armstrong basically doing the marketing for antivirus, not doing it for him, like, you know, he's bringing attention to the topic. All it takes is me and Janice to get out there, right, on the McAfee meme, the McAfee meme. This is the third podcast episode is out, Waltzing with Anarchy. Like when you hear this, this is an artificial intelligence version of John McAfee that talks. They query the chatbot and then they feed it into an AI voice program. And eventually you won't have to do that. You'll just talk to it and it'll respond voice. I just showed you all this stuff about how sovereigns do not necessarily have your interest at heart. And no one cares until they do. Until they do, right? Anthony Pomplino, if you measure stock performance since 2006 in dollars, the market's up 400%. But if you look at it versus gold, the S&P's flat. So the S&P, adjusted for currency devaluation, hasn't gone anywhere. Now, of course, if you're long NVIDIA on leverage, you're doing quite well. But purchasing power is vanishing. And people are going to figure this out. And even if they don't figure it out, the institutions are going to figure it out. Why do you think BlackRock is parking money in UK homes? Other than the fact that they want to turn us all into serfs. They're trying to get out of fiat currency and get into any asset that they can. Michael Saylor calls Bitcoin the only asset endorsed by a U.S. president in the 21st century. 80K is a historic entry point. All the risk has been stripped off the asset. Bitcoin will rip forward with a vengeance. He must watch the show. He must watch the show. A guy says something like this, and they're selling the market today. This guy had said this when Bitcoin was at 110. All the investment banks be calling for 250. Standard Chartered yesterday reduced their upside target in ETH for the end of the year from 10K to 4K. Everyone gave up on ETH yesterday, by the way. It's FTX without FTX. Gold hitting 3,000 is a good time to remind ourselves that, if you adjust everything for inflation or you adjust everything for the price of gold, legacy financial assets are. And what's amazing is when they sold stocks, they also sold Bitcoin, which is incredible, right? There's a panic in stock. I don't know, I don't know if that's justified or not. I don't know if they got problems over there in legacy, but why did they sell crypto? Crypto was down even before equities fell out of bed. Selling the wrong asset. Trump's World Liberty raises $500 million via a token sale. Michael Saylor's buying it. Orange Man's hedge funds buying it. We're selling it. The Russians are buying it. Of course, they want to test a digital ruble for surveillance, naturally. That sovereign's no good. France, UK. I don't know what we're doing in the Middle East. What are we doing? Like, just look at it. I mean, you can be neutral and be like, hey, do I want to own the currencies of these people? I don't think so. Okay, Solana did something stupid. They released kind of a controversial ad that got everybody selling Solana. I don't exactly know what the ad said. I did see it on Twitter, and some guy said, I just sold all my Solana at 120, and I bought Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance is going to 80K, and that's possible. In theory, that's possible. At 220, everyone loves Solana. At 120, no one wants to touch it. And we're selling it because they ran a Twitter ad. Again, everyone thinks Solana is a corporation. It's like, where's the marketing? Where's the CEO? People in crypto have lost their mind. They just want their bags to go up. They don't care about what crypto is supposed to be about, which is cryptocurrency for the people. Costco workers now make $31 an hour and can expect raises for the next 2 years per fortune. Okay. Like if you're an hourly wage laborer and you're making less than $30 an hour in the United States, you're not making it. And I'm not even talking about like big cities. You're just not making it. The reason Costco is doing this is because they don't want their employees exhausted, because literally everybody in this bracket has to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs. It's that simple. I mean, I know people who are in this position. You cannot have 1 job at $20 an hour. You can't. And if it's less than $20 an hour, well, then, you're going without a car, or, you have a choice between lunch or gasoline for your car. I'm serious. Someone tell me the currency is working when a discount chain like Costco, in order to maintain the sanity of their people and not have them working 3 jobs so they can focus on the job that they're doing, they got to go to $31 an hour with additional raises. 250K Bitcoin. MetaPlanet issues $2 billion in bonds, right? 2 billion yen in bonds to get more Bitcoin. They better do this before Europeans, before the Germans and the Americans have to go ballistic issuing bonds. This is the smartest. These are some of the smartest moves in legacy I've ever seen. Literally. Strategy announced the launch of STRF, Strife, a new perpetual preferred stock offering available to institutional investors. In other words, I'll create all the stuff you want me to create. First, they had MicroStrategy. They sold that to the people to get more money. Then they had Spark, whatever. Okay, we'll sell that. Then we have Strife. Okay, we'll sell that. We're going to make these securities. Legacy will buy them relentlessly. We are going to borrow all the money we can to buy Bitcoin, and no one cares. We're all bearish. Crazy. Next Federal Reserve meeting, according to Grok, is the 18th to the 19th. Okay, statement typically comes out on the 19th. Everyone's afraid of Jerome Powell. Everybody thinks that what these guys say means something. I don't know. I think if they open their mouth, whatever they say is going to be wrong. They say we have to wait for tariffs and Trump, wrong. If they admit that there may be something going on with the labor market, that means they screwed up and rates are too high. I don't see them admitting that, but if they ever did, Bitcoin's at 95, period. So it's like whatever these guys say, it's either stupid or they're admitting that they were stupid. So they either acted stupid, they're acting stupid now, or they acted stupid before, or both. Or both. And everyone's like, oh, let's hang in the balance and see what the Fed says. The Fed has screwed up. They have screwed up so bad. I'm just waiting for the day where Bitcoin goes, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done. Okay. So meanwhile, we sell everything, right? Everything is down. So we have 213 bottoms in Solana now. We have a big support point at 116 and no one cares. Everyone's selling. All these bottoming signals, everything at the Lux Algo discount zone. I don't know how many times I can bring it up. XRP is neutral around the 38% retracement. You know, ETH versus Bitcoin. Like the give up trade in ETH is stunning. Like this is ETH versus Bitcoin. Just, I don't know, man. There's like no bottom. There should be a bottom if you look at a weekly chart. No, sorry. Should be a bottom if you look at a monthly chart. No interest. ETH just sitting on top of this. It's like Solana. This is beginning to look like the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Or it's just like when it sits still, it falls off a cliff. That's also possible. Crypto sitting still like ETH did here was negative. I'm not saying there's no case for the market to go down. I'm not saying that. I am saying that if the market went up, particularly with people giving up, you could have substantial upside. And again, we have FTX level bearishness with no crisis, no crypto crisis. If anything, there's a case for this market to be materially higher. Grandpa Keter's like melt up. Yeah. Okay. Colby says, Bill, I've always been here just watching offline. Sir, we appreciate your viewership. Thank you. SGSG, the original is here. Alexandra checking in from Europe. Oh no. Good morning. Sync. Malik, what's up? Okay. I'm wrapping it up there. There's always a case. Crypto can always go down. We know this, right? I think we got to start asking ourselves what happens if it doesn't go up, and how high and how hard can Bitcoin move once they get done buying everyone's crypto and scaring everyone out of the market. Aaron Dom is here. Welcome. Right? If they scare you out of the market and you can't hold it together, especially when this is like an imaginary crisis created on Twitter inside everyone's head. Seriously. And I don't know how high it has to go to get people off this and keep them off of it, right? Like what gets fear greed back to 70? How high does it have to go? Pretty high. And the also question is, how fast does it have to go? That's another question. Okay. That's it for the market update. We will see you tomorrow.